Hello and welcome, Overwhelm Solution for Moms. I'm Honor, founder of Awakened Motherhood, and I'm so excited to be bringing you a very special guest today, a just recently former client of mine, Marissa. I am so glad to have you on today. Marissa is a mom of two girls who are 8 and 4, and she's also a integrative nurse, holistic practitioner, and I'm super excited for her just agreeing to be here today and open the door to share with you about her experience in Awakened Motherhood, where she was before, what's going on for her now, and answer any questions that you guys may have. So welcome, Marissa. So glad you're here. Thanks for joining me. Super fun.
My pleasure.
All right, let's just start with, I would love for you to give people a snapshot of a day in the life of Marissa before you learned all the wonderful secrets that you now know in Awakened Motherhood. What was going on for you and what was normal everyday life like?
Oh, goodness. Scattered. I lived in a scattered existence. I felt that every morning I woke up, I just wasn't in necessarily the driver's seat. I felt like I was on a roller coaster ride and I didn't have much control over the things that I really needed to have agency over. My emotions were one, and then just I wasn't able to thrive in my role as a mom and a wife, and I really wanted to. And I kept on bumping up against things in my past that really they needed some room to come out, and I needed a safe container to work through. And I came here to this program because I've seen Honor stuff on TikTok all the time and Instagram, and I was just like, okay, this woman speaks to me. Like every video for a while, I was like, she's speaking to me. and I reached out. I was at the bottom of just, I was literally driving my kids around to their things, and I was sitting in silence in the car, and I just couldn't get my thoughts to like stop speeding around. I was very sad and anxious all the time, every day. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I didn't want to continue this. I'm a person who helps other people. And when you're in a really disempowered state, it's really difficult to help other people. It was affecting every part of my life, my mental state. And I realized that I needed to get that safe container into my life. I didn't want to do more traditional therapy because it was sort of, well, frankly, it was re-traumatizing me. It was something like I had tried different counselors, I had tried different therapists, and I was like, I just kept on having that same experience. I'm like, this is not working for me. I just need something more on the coaching end of things. You know, I don't need to read. I don't need to keep poking at the wound and then saying like, "Oh,
the problem
there." I was completely overwhelmed and not functioning well. Executive functioning was down. Being here present for my kids was down. Being here and present for my husband was down. Being here and present for myself was just, it was not even existent at that time.
Yeah. Say something about what that was doing to your mental health, your energy level, to be in that place for so long.
I feel like I'd go to like a yoga class, for example, and I would feel better for like a couple hours. And I would think like, yoga classes would typically happen in the evening. In the morning, it was almost like it would all trickle back in again. Like, oh God, there it is again. I have to deal with all this crap again. The anxiety I struggle with, and I say I struggle with because I still struggle with it. It's not like this container has given me a space to deal and cope with the stuff that I struggle with. It's not as if it's just been extinguished. But the anxiety was driving the car,
Yeah.
Even the way that I speak to my family now, they've all said in some way, again, my kids are little, 8 and 4. And my husband has noticed all the changes too. But you know, my older daughter said to me one day that, Mommy, she said, I'm not so huffy anymore. And what she meant by that was like in the morning, okay, get on your shoes. Get on your shoes. We got to get out the door. We got to get out the door. We got to get out of the car. Okay, come on. Like, we got to go. We got to go. We're going to be late. And now we're late, and then like in the car. Okay. So, I'm going to drop you off and this is what's going to go on. And then, we got to get the other one. And it was just like, that was the morning.
Yeah.
That was my morning. And then what was happening was I dropped my kids off at school and daycare, and then I'd be like stuck here. And I'd be like, I get home and I'm like, I don't know. I work from home. I'm like, do I clean? Do I do laundry? Do I work? Nothing would get done. And that went on for a very long time, longer than I would like to admit, and the house would be in a pile by the time everyone got home. I'd be in a pile by the time everyone would get home. I wasn't able to set the tone for my family the way that I really need to, and the way that I certainly want to.
Yeah. Okay. Say something about, thank you for sharing all of that. That's so helpful to give people something to connect with, because I know that a lot of the mothers here are quietly having a similar experience and feeling like they shouldn't be. Or it's wrong, or something wrong with them. And it's way more common than a lot of people realize. You're a practitioner. You could see the signs in yourself. You knew that this is not how it's supposed to be, but you had tried a lot of things and it wasn't shifting. So will you say something about the different avenues that you had tried? You mentioned yoga, but and therapy. Just say a little bit more about that and why it wasn't working for you think now.
So I have been a yoga practitioner for over 20 years, and I am a yoga teacher. And that practice prior to kids sustained me. It helped me work through, I am a person who struggles with depression, anxiety, and insomnia. And that practice sustained me before kids. And having kids just completely, it was not adequate. So, and I still practice yoga, and it sustains me in that way. I take care of my mind and my body. It's that connection. It's my place of peace and calm. My faith. But no, it wasn't enough, and it wasn't consistent enough with children. Children will throw you off before you can say I'm thrown off.
Before you notice.
Yeah, and learning how to sort of go with that, because that's just their flow. They're not trying to do that, but that's just their flow. Learning how to work through that has been one of the most significant challenges for me as a mom. I did a lot of different therapy and counseling. I've done a lot of different modalities, EMDR. That was cool. I mean, it was good to get my nervous system to sort of chill out a bit. But in terms of changing the patterning here, I didn't really find a whole lot that was very effective. I could focus on breathing for 20, 30 minutes, right? Yeah. So I'm a meditation practitioner. And then afterwards, I'm like, again, they just all sort of trickle back in. Oh, there are the thoughts again. I wasn't feeling empowered by all these different things that I was trying. I just wasn't. I wasn't feeling empowered. I was feeling like, okay, here's my tool bag. I'm going to put some more tools in there, and I'll take them out when I need them and stuff. But those tools didn't empower me. They really didn't. They gave me coping strategies, but how to navigate my day-to-day without having to go down and then have to crawl back up. That's what Awakened Motherhood did for me. It helped me build that bridge where I felt very empowered by the tools that I acquired in the program. And I still, the modules, I'm almost, if I don't listen to a module, I haven't listened to modules in a few days, and I'm like, I need to listen to a module. I need to.
Yeah, it becomes like a form of nourishment.
Yes.
The language and the lessons. One of the things that really stands out to me, but what I just heard you say is that so true is there that a lot of people experience that cycle where they know the things that make them feel good. They take a bath, they go to yoga, they hire a babysitter for a couple shifts a week. They get maybe someone to clean their house. It adjusts some things. It removes some stressors. It gives you a break. But what is your baseline? What is your set point? When you wake up the next morning, the kind of set point is what you return to.
Mm-hmm.
Or the chaos of your mind comes flooding back in because overthinking is just the norm right now. And that's what I heard about, like being stuck in that cycle, and yoga isn't enough, and therapy was actually traumatizing. And then this, the health journey like wasn't enough to really shift. And so really celebrating you for amazing growth and transformation in that area of repatterning yourself to a new set point, to a new baseline. And that's what we do in Awakened Motherhood that is so unique and different from other programs or coaching or whatever. So I think that probably everybody here would like to hear where you are now, and you've alluded to things are better. But if you are going to really articulate or define, like, what are the moments that show you, wow, I really have changed? One is your daughter saying, you're not so huffy, Mom, and you know that you're more present. What else has shifted and changed? Looking at your other relationships, yourself, anything.
My relationship with myself has been a greater love. I really came into, I followed honor because I really wasn't able to feel love for myself. I really was in a deficit there. And I didn't love, this is a stage in my life where I'm sort of transforming again in terms of career. So it's been a very challenging time to I really wasn't, I had a fully fleshed out self-love, self-care deficit.
Yeah.
So that really, it helped me to love myself and to give myself agency in my relationships as well. What was happening prior to this program a lot, and I knew that it was like, this is the universe saying like, okay, you got to handle this now, girl. Like this, it's time. I was getting triggered left and right in my relationships. I was getting triggered daily by my kids. I was getting triggered daily by my husband. I was getting triggered daily by just about any social interaction. And I'm a social butterfly. And for me to go out and about and to feel scared that I'm going to get triggered by another human was just, it's not a natural state of being for me. It's not something I've ever known in my life. So I was in really strange, scary territory. And I finally, through Awakened Motherhood, was able to walk out of that territory. I still kind of feel it, but I'm able to own myself now in my relationships. And where I think that shows up the most for me is in my marriage. So
Yeah.
my husband has said many times, that there was one day where I just came up to him and I was like, I have decided that I'm going to work with this woman. Her name is Honor. She has a program and I'm going to do it. And he goes, okay. And then I just signed up with Honor. And then a little while later, he goes, oh, how much? I'm like, I already did it.
Too late.
I was like, and then, I was like, I needed to do it and I did it. So
you are a decision maker for your happiness, and you knew he was going to benefit too. And that's why you knew it was safe to take action, and bravo for trusting that.
Yeah. And he was, of course, a little bit cautious. And I'm like, you got to trust me here. I was like, I need this. I'm going to do it. He has said over and over again, especially the last 6 weeks, I would say, that he's like, he goes, I like the assertive you. He goes, I know I don't have to dig into what you've said and try to understand it. He's like, you've made it a lot easier for me to understand you. And at first I thought like, because when I first started to sort of step into my power, um, he, of course, was sort of bumping back at me.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't, I think he was just testing.
Yeah.
And probably, and, also probably a little defensive as well, because he just didn't know what the heck he was dealing with. But our communication has improved greatly. We're not a perfect couple by any means. We have we're challenging to each other. I believe there's different soulmates in life, and he's my mirror soulmate. We're sort of like, we're the same age. We're on like a similar path. We've known each other for a long time, and we both sort of share the lessons that we have to learn independently and together.
That's beautiful.
And it's great in the sense that I do have this reflective person that can share with me like, hey, you're in a crap place right now. And it's not always easy. But yeah, prior to the program, I was really, I'll own it. I was in a toxic place with my marriage because my needs weren't being met. And I kept on like, it was like a deck. I kept on divvying it out, my needs to everyone else. Like, you're not meeting them. And I was like,
it doesn't go so well, does it?
It doesn't. You're responsible for your own needs. You're responsible for showing up for yourself in relationships so that you can have your needs met. And most of all, I think the most important thing that I have really embraced here, I knew it intellectually, but I really couldn't bring it into my heart space, was that I can meet my own needs. I am fully capable of giving myself just about all that I absolutely require here on this earth.
Yes.
And once I've taken the responsibility away from other people, I'm like, it has been profound for my energy. My energy level has just been more consistent. So
good.
I'm still crawling into bed at the end of the day. Like, okay, get there.
I know you still have the same children. You still have the same life, but the plugging those leaks in your energy is I agree, so profound. It's one of the biggest consistent outcomes that I see in all of our clients, that when you stop outsourcing your power, that happiness, that all those things, and you just go, and you own that belief. I mean, everybody who's listening, did you hear how strong that was for Marissa? It's like, I am 100% capable of meeting pretty much all the needs I have in this walk through life on this planet right now, in this body. I can do that. And sometimes people have a lot of feelings attached to that. Like, I don't want to do that for myself, but that's about not really caring enough about yourself, not really loving yourself. And you're there now, and you've got that now. So therefore it feels good, and it feels fun, and it feels right to make yourself happy and full. And just so everybody really hears this, like, what's the result of that in your marriage and with your kids? Now that you are, instead of dealing out the cards, you're actually just kind of keeping that deck to yourself and giving within. What's the result for them?
I think for my oldest, especially, her and I are very similar in terms of emotionality and sensitivity. And so she would, when I'm stressed, she feels stressed.
Yeah.
And, again, it's not perfect. Honor, before we got on live, I had said, my husband and I had a high conflict on Sunday, and it was not pretty. And we both brought not our best selves to the table. And the kids, unfortunately, got to see that and hear it. And it left a mark. And, my husband and I were able to come to the table later. We had things to do. And, this is just part of this process for me, is instead of feeling flighty and like, I need to run away from this, and I can't, like, or I need to fight. And I was able to get myself to center. And I apologized to my oldest. I apologized to my husband. He apologized to me. We meant it. We cut it out. We said, we agreed that there's more here to unpack. And then now is not the time. And so for my daughter, I told her, I'm like, Mommy and Daddy are okay. We're just working through some stuff. And she actually said, she goes, I know, Mommy. And I was like, I've had that hug before. And she just used to be pretty quiet. And now she's like, I know. So that's huge for me.
It's huge.
Yeah.
She's feeling your energy in that. She's feeling what's true. What's true. And when you say what's true, she knows it, because that's what she senses.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful gift.
I would say so. There's definitely a lot more cohesiveness in our house. My girls, they want to be, they're little, they would like to be with us, but, for me, especially, they've been tapping into like things like, instead of like, Mommy, play with me. Like, Mommy, can we do art today? Can we make art today, Mommy? Can we go outside and can we go collect leaves, or, like, that's just really cool. Like I know that there's more comfort in our household.
Beautiful.
So my husband also, he's on his own journey, and, he recognizes, his role in some of my feeling that my needs haven't been met. So there's two pieces going on. He's on his own journey, and he's able to now understand, A, that I have needs, and B, that they're not all his responsibility. Yes. But here's a couple of them.
Exactly. And that you might receive his support, and you might receive his lightness. I know when you guys went camping the second time you went camping this summer, that there was fun, like spontaneous fun that happened, or ease that happened for you guys. And so that is what naturally occurs when you clean up your side of the street, is that the people around you clean up their side of the street. The people around you calm down. They begin to notice themselves more. That happens in partnerships. He begins to notice himself more. He begins to go like, oh, I can really have an impact here that's positive. And instead of everybody walking on eggshells, now we have moments where we come together and we move apart, and it's all okay. It's all okay. So that's so beautiful.
And without the anxiety fog, because it's lifted the anxiety fog for me greatly.
Yay.
Without the anxiety fog, I'm not so defensive. A lot of the ish that I was bringing to the table, at least able now, it's not gone. I can at least spread it over the table though and see it.
Yes.
And be like, okay, that, this is something I need to work on. Part of having mental health issues, as a partnered person is, your partner does, whether you want to admit it, see it, cope with it, your partner does struggle along with you. And for the longest time, I really did. I had sort of not blinders on, but I guess less understanding for the struggle that he had, secondary to what I was experiencing.
Yes.
So there's been a lot more compassion and a lot more empathy.
These are so beautiful. I appreciate you so much sharing your heart, and just sharing so honestly with us here, and with everyone who is kind of quietly struggling through survival mode, doubting that it can be any better. And just to kind of reiterate, the big message that you're sharing here is that when you learned how to really be in charge of what you think and feel, that everything began to change from there, including what you see in your relationships, that life isn't perfect, that anxiety isn't 100% eradicated from your being. This took a lifetime of conditioning to set these things in motion this way. But from here, the better it gets, as long as you continue to keep yourself in that in the front seat, really in the front seat. So, yeah, I just appreciate you sharing so much. Is there anything that you would say to these moms who are suffering or struggling, or anything else that you want to share before we wrap up today?
I would say you're worth it. You're absolutely worth it. You know, moms make their families' worlds go round, and they make the world in general go round. And if moms don't prioritize themselves, then we're all screwed, honestly.
That's
And
it.
we're at a pandemic
Yes.
of mothers being alone, feeling
Yes.
alone, being trapped inside their heads with their children. and
Yes.
it's just these cycles have not only negative consequences for our own selves, but they have diminishing returns elsewhere.
Yes.
And I think women especially were taught from a very young age, that you got to get used to being a back burner person. And I think that is an old concept that we need to fire.
Yes.
And we need to recognize that we are absolutely worth it. We're worth the process. We're worth the program. We're worth healing. It's worth it to invest in yourself. That's what I did. I invested in myself. I chose honor. I feel so blessed that for whatever reason, the universe put honor on my TikTok.
Yay for social media. Sometimes there's good there.
And yeah, I think that's what this journey has been about for me. As a caregiver, I realized a lot of my stuff has been wrapped up in as a kid who was abandoned, all that sort of stuff. I became this caregiver because that's what a lot of us do. We believe that we can take care of other people and we can fill these voids that we may feel.
Yes.
That's for some people, I think that might work, but I think for most of us, especially the women that I know, it doesn't work. Over time, it's just going to get a little bit the issues that you're not dealing with are just going to get a little bit more, they're going to get louder and more apparent. And then you become a mom and this cycle starts to really perpetuate.
And then we hand it down and we don't mean to. And
yeah. And that's the thing. I'm here one of the things I remember on our discovery call was I need to break this cycle. Mm-hmm. I was afraid of a couple of things. I didn't want to repeat this cycle. I didn't want to bring all of my generational trauma over to the next generation. My other thing was that I was concerned because the people in my family didn't do well under similar circumstances. There's a lot of disease related to the similar mental health and emotional problems that I have. I'm I need to be here. I can't go away.
Yes.
So
yeah, your kids need you, and it's true for all of the moms who are going to tune into this talk. There is a little voice that I've heard people talk about over and over again in the head, the voice of self-sabotage and defeat that goes I'm such a screw up, or I'm screwing this up, or I'm damaging them, or that's one story. But what's more true than that is that they need you, and they need you healthy, and they need you loving them. And the only way to do that is to learn how to take care of you and to love yourself. And that's a process of up-leveling and rewiring and reprogramming that not everybody's going to choose, but I'm celebrating you choosing it, Marissa, and huge congrats for all these wins. Your joy is also my joy. I'm so happy. And thank you for joining for this conversation. Such a pleasure to really hear your heart today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if anybody has some questions for Marissa, comments, this is going to be up in the Overwhelmed Solution for Moms group, this interview for a while, so that you can catch the replay and drop her some comments, give her some hearts and likes when you see this broadcast, so that just you can share your gratitude and thanks with Marissa. And thank you from me to you. All the best. And I will see you again soon. Bye, everybody.